Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. My name is Anna Sainz. I am the Managing Director of Ceres Foundation. It's possible that you are asking why we are here. In the next 5 minutes, only 5 minutes, we try to show you why we are here, because we promote a new model of doing business. We promote an innovative model of doing business. Year by year, social problems are getting bigger. The old model doesn't work. Companies are necessary in the new model. The organization like the UN consider companies are really change maker in the new world, but with a new role. In this world, companies must be grow together with society. But not always it is easy, because this is not charity, it is not philanthropy, it is shared value. And to do it is necessary that this action is part of the business strategy. In this slide, you can see how can companies create value with social action. For example, they can create value with new markets, or growth in talents, or manage risks better. And for us, it's very important that all of us create value and generate value. It's not value only for one of the parts. Now we are more than 125 companies that consider that it is the only way forward to success the future. And in this way, it's very important listening to and understanding society, and identify the new opportunities for the future and help the people who live in it. Before, we are talking about the value for companies, and now we try to give you some example to illustrate how can companies and society grow together. First is a global example. We have a lot of companies who are working on education, in our kid education. And, well, you know, our unemployment rate is very high in Spain. And it's true that our young people need new skills for the future jobs. Companies know these skills and need these skills. And if companies and society work together, tomorrow will be a better workforce. Another more specific example. For example, a petrol company who decided to make their petrol station accessible for disabled people. And at first, when they decide this action, their focus was on disabled people. But later, they discovered that it's very important for old people, pregnant, and another people, and all the society. And both of them grow together. There are a lot of examples with more and less innovation, but later we have the opportunity to know more about Coca-Cola and their innovation plan. And if you don't mind, stop there and continue with the presentation. Well, another question that we talked about it 2 slides ago is about the difficulty of this process. It's not easy, because when you are thinking in this process, you need a transformation in all the business, in all the companies. In Ceres helps companies in this way. And what we do this step. For example, we identify the new challenges. We support companies who design new solutions. After us, we share all the knowledge with all our companies, and with another actors in the new world. And at the end, with partnership and with innovation, we try to scale up. And in addition, for us, social innovation are very important too. And how can we work with this? Well, for us, it's very important pay attention to traditional forums like TED, like Business School, or like Singularity University, extract the ideas around social innovation and share these ideas with people in companies. After that, we work with partners like SIS2B and try to understand better another groups like entrepreneurs. And I promise you only 5 minutes. I don't know if it's OK, because only 2 ideas. The first idea is around a business leader. A business leader has to think about how to solve the societal challenges of today, because if we don't solve them, we will not have a business tomorrow. Are you ready to use the future to transform today? Thank you very much.
¿Están enlazadas? ¿Están ahí las dos? That's it. OK, there we go, Coca-Cola. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks a lot for South Summit for counting with Coca-Cola to explain this social innovation project that we have been developing since 2012. I don't know how many people here in this space know about HIRA, the project HIRA that Coca-Cola has been developing. Could you please raise your hands if you know about the project? OK. That's very good news for us, because today, this afternoon, we've got the opportunity to share this project with you. And hopefully, at the end of my presentation, you'll join and enjoy its figures as well as we do. So HIRA project, it's one of our main projects that is included in the social dimension strategy, in the corporate responsibility strategy of Coca-Cola. This project started in 2012, and what we would like to know, and we would like to explain you, is how it all started. It all started with this innovation process that Anna explained before, in the sense that Coca-Cola wanted to add some value in the place where we had operations, and at the same time, we had to make sure that it was aligned with our value chain. That was very important for us, that people that were included or that were going to be included in this social project had to have an impressive brand experience, and at the same time, we had to be responsive to the social needs. So taking all that in the mixture, we put everything together, and then HIRA started. We called it HIRA project, and it's something very much aligned with our business, very much aligned with our performance towards young people, right? So what does HIRA stand for? It all started with a very specific social context. In the middle of the social crisis, most of the people that are right now sitting in this room could very well recognize that we really had a very important economic crisis in Spain, and that this crisis affected especially young people in terms of unemployment. So unfortunately, Spain led at the time the school failure and the youth unemployment. And it's still the case in many regions of Spain. But the thing is that more than 53% of our young people couldn't find a job. So at that time, Coca-Cola said, OK, if I want to do something that it's going to give, that it's going to leave a positive footprint in my social environment, that is something that I could very well focus on. So we said, like, OK, we could focus on any kind of young people, because all young people need this aid. But what if we focus on those people that need an extra help? And these people that really need the extra help are the people that have less opportunities because they've got less resources, and they also come from contexts of school failure, right? So that's how HIRA young people started, right? So we knew that we had to do something with education. We knew that we had to do something with training, giving these people working experiences. And for this social innovation procedure, one of the key parts were the NGOs. With NGOs and in a co-creation procedure of what had to be done, it was impossible for us to answer the social needs in a correct way, because what we know to do is refreshments. We do beverages, but we don't do social impact kind of projects. If we really want to be excellent in this kind of project, we have to count with people that are more relevant in this arena, right? So we had to count with NGOs, and what we really wanted to do is something that had to do with coaching, with a personal experience, with making these young people believe that they can do whatever they want to do if they believe in themselves. It's not only about giving them a job at the end of the day, which would be wonderful for the project, but it's not only about that. It's about making all of the people that are included in this training procedure believe again in themselves, and that's the most important part for us, right? So that was part of education, and then the part of training has very much to do with our value chain and our brand assets. We want to give these people, and what we do in the whole procedure is we contact these NGOs who are experts in social exclusion and experts in young people, and we tell them, okay, you have to identify the people that need this kind of training, and you have to give them this training. And this training involves all kinds of basic things like how to do a curriculum, how to do an interview, etc. But it's not only that. You have to make them believe that they can do whatever they want to do if they really bet on that, right? So that's the part of the NGOs training, and then there is a very important part of coaching that it's basically done in the most maybe differential part of the project, which is a campus that takes place in the outskirts of Madrid, in a place where we'll see a little bit later on. But at the end of the day, the best people that are best prepared, they start working in our assets, in all of these programs and events that Coca-Cola organizes around the year, things that have to do with theater, with music, with sports, everything. So that's what we really want to do is like an empowerment, an empowering experience for the people that could construct not only in personal empowerment, but could lead at the end of the day to employment, sorry. So it works on empowerment and employability at the same time. So what we have at the very beginning of the procedure, we have people that make a lot of questions about their future. They don't really know what to do. We put them in this training itinerary, and at the end of the day, hopefully they know what they want to do. They have a vocation. They can identify which is their passion, and hopefully they construct their future around that, right? That's why we call HIRA an empowerment and employability project, right? So this is the emotional experience part that I was telling you before, the most differential part of the project, which is the campus. We take these people, around 200 young people a year, and we take them to this place in the outskirts of Madrid, sorry, to give them a learning experience that generates in them an emotional mark through coaching, through working in a team group, knowing to respect each other, knowing to accept the differences, things that maybe we have learned within our families, but maybe that these people haven't had the chance to do yet. Right, so this is we do during the year 2 4-day camp with around 100 young people each, and the last one just took place on the 23rd of September, so we've just closed that one for this year, the second one. And where do we do it? In a very beautiful place, and remember that these people come from social excluded contexts, meaning that many of them have never gone on vacation with their parents. Many of them don't even have the experience of going out their own quartiers. We found people that coming from the gypsy ethnia, for example, that haven't talked to other kind of people before. So imagine what kind of experience that can be for people that don't have contact, no, even outside their own street. So I had this video, but it's working. People told me that it was not going to work, but apparently it works. I don't know if the music is going to be, it's going to work, but this is, I wanted to show you that because it's the most differential part, but also because it highlights the entities with whom we work. I don't know if we can have sound for that. We don't have sound? Okay, I think I'm going to stop it here because the most important part is what these young people are saying, and if we cannot see it, it makes no sense. So, the working experiences. I wanted to show you the different assets that Coca-Cola provides to these people to work. So these people have been working in the Royal Theatre in Madrid, and some of them have already entered the Royal Theatre in doing things that have to do with electricity or logistic things, right? They had the chance to work with important singers in Spain, like, for example, Alborán, Pablo Alborán, or they had the opportunity to participate in sports events linked with the Coca-Cola brand. So that's how we link the social impact that we wanted to generate, our chain value, and the impact and the impact that we wanted to make in society. So these are the main achievements of HIRA since 2012 to 2014 and 15, sorry. 73% of the people that pass through HIRA continue their education, and that's already an important achievement for us, because remember that before I told you that they all came from failure education contexts. 27% find a job, 145,000 hours of training since the very beginning of the project, and 2013 working experiences linked to HIRA Jóvenes. 38% of these people are women, and we work with the most important and the key part of this project, which are the 9 social entities that help us develop the project during the year. The good thing is that this year we are very happy because we have started this project in Sevilla, meaning that 3 entities are working with us there. 100 young people are working, have been included in this training process. And in total, 2,100 young people have been trained within this project that we think it's a good example of social innovation, linking with a brand, linking with what Coca-Cola is. We really bet for this and really foster this methodology, and we have started with young people, but this year we're going to start a project that is totally focused in women. It's going to be HIRA Women, HIRA Mujeres, and it's going to start in a couple of months. Hopefully you'll see it around and you'll know more about it, and it involves training. It involves offline training, online training, entrepreneurship, and hopefully the development of businesses that have to do with the food and beverages chain value. So that's all from my side, and I give the floor to Xavier. Thank you.
Okay. A pleasure to be here. I have 10 minutes, and I want you to take with you 3 ideas. So it's going to be very challenging for me. Before starting, I'd like to make you 3 questions. The first question is, before today, how many of you were familiar with the term shared value? So some of you. The second question is, how many of you is familiar with the term social entrepreneurship? So some of you too. And of all you, how many are familiar with the word impact investment? So some less than you. So the three ideas I'm gonna try to take to you are related to these three concepts. The first idea, I think, it was quite well exposed by them. Shared value. Companies, corporations are no longer doing social corporate responsibility in terms of expense or philanthropy, and quite more frequently we are seeing corporates and companies engaging in shared value proposals in which there is business, there is profit for the company and the corporation at the same time that they make an impact. And usually they engage in activities that have to be related to the DNA of the company. So no longer we're seeing that much companies in the world doing philanthropy or doing expenses in terms of social, although it's a very good practice and I think it should follow up, but there is a big trend on shared value. So this is the first idea. I think it's an easy idea. How many of you did you get the idea? Not many, so I didn't do that well of a job. The second idea is that social entrepreneurs are changing their profile. When you talk about a social entrepreneur, usually people get a mindset of what is this social entrepreneur. And if you had to draw this man or this woman, you would probably draw it in a certain way. Well, this is changing. As you will see, the new social entrepreneurs, they are techie guys. They are guys that take, for instance, the dry water and they convert it into edible water through nanotechnology. Or they are entrepreneurs that convert water from the vacuum or water from the air in order to get water in zones where you don't have access for that water. Or they are entrepreneurs that want to bring to your home a machine that will put salt water on one side and you will get edible water on the other side. Or people that bring solar machines in third world rural areas. Or people that get electricity from the sun, the water, and the salt in rural areas. Or accessible technologies to get energy in areas where they cannot pay much for the energy. Or people that launch online e-learning platforms, free online e-learning platforms like the Khan Academy. Or people that work on artificial intelligence and try to take you to personalized itineraries of learning. Or people that build a hospital in a chip, a laboratory on a chip. Or social entrepreneurs that work with robots in the hospitals. Or social entrepreneurs that engage on making your mobile a hospital. Or entrepreneurs that use 3D printing to print edible meat that doesn't come from the animals to feed the third world. So this is the second big issue that I wanted to share with you. The new social entrepreneurs are different. So have I got my objective? Have you changed your draw on your mind about the social entrepreneurs? Have I been successful? Raise hands. Well, I think I've been a bit more successful this time. And then on the third side, the impact investing, the third concept that I wanted to share with you. Impact investing are those investors that want a profitability, sometimes a very high return, but at the same time, they want to make a social contribution. And sometimes, the highest the return and the highest the profitability, the highest the social impact. This sounds like a strange idea, no? Because usually we think in terms of if you're profitable, you usually don't have social return. It doesn't happen that. There are many projects that are disruptive, that are innovative, that bring very advanced solutions to humanity, that at the same time shares profitability and social impact. And this is the impact investment market that is emerging throughout the world. In Spain, it's quite new, but in places like England or the US or the north of Europe, this is really exploding. Last year, for instance, in London, it was launched as secondary market. So there is a public market on social business. There are private equities in London that manage £1 billion pounds in assets of impact investing. So it's a market that is growing a lot, that has a lot of potential. So if you're one of those social entrepreneurs, if you really have something different, you have to look for this market of social or impact investing. And at the same time, you have to look for these shared value proposals. You have to engage with these social entrepreneurs. And if you are a corporation or if you are a company, you have to change your mind about social and don't think about social as an expense, as philanthropy. You have to think about social in terms of shared value. How do I create business that is profitable for me and at the same time I create a social impact? We do this and we're trying to promote this kind of social entrepreneurship and this kind of impact investing and this kind of shared value in the Ship2B Foundation. The Ship2B Foundation is a platform here in Spain to develop, accelerate, and finance social entrepreneurs in order to engage with corporations and in order to engage with investors. Thank you very much.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Please give another round of applause. Thank you. So is there any question? Is there anything you'd like to ask, please? Do we have you have a micro? Cheers. There you go.
Thank you very much. I have a question for Anna regarding Jira. It looks to me from what you would describe that, sorry, I hope that that it looks to me like a fairly standard corporate social responsibility program in the sense that you are providing training and education to people who are shall we say, underprivileged in the Spanish context. Is Coca-Cola in Spain doing anything similar to what you are doing in East Africa, for example, with your manual distribution centers?
Properly, sorry. Is Coca-Cola there?
Is Coca-Cola, can you hear me?
Yeah, now.
Is Coca-Cola doing in Spain something similar to what you are already doing in East Africa, integrating people who are from underprivileged communities, from impoverished communities, into your distribution value chain? That is a core business project. It's not really a project. You are actually integrating people within, this is core business, and that you benefit in the form of more profitability in your distribution channels in East Africa. You're providing jobs, you're providing trading,
Yep.
and that would be described as an inclusive business or a social, maybe in some ways a social enterprise. I did not quite understand how the Jira qualifies as a social enterprise. Maybe I misunderstood. So that was just, I was just curious whether Coca-Cola in Spain had something that would qualify as an inclusive business or a social enterprise.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the question. You're very right. You understood Gira Jóvenes perfectly well. It has nothing to do with social enterprises. It has to do with young empowerment, empowering young people, people that are underprivileged. But what I was trying to explain is that we used this methodology of sitting with NGOs, listening to what they had to add on top of the table, knowing that their experience is completely valuable, knowing that our objective was to empower young people and that we couldn't do that alone, and that we had to co-create a procedure that could make sense for both Coca-Cola and the NGOs and the society at the same time. And that's what I wanted to explain with the shared value concept, right? But the good news is that we do have that kind of project. And that was the Gira Mujeres project that I kind of just left like a teaser campaign at the end of my presentation. Because we are just starting that in a couple of months, but what we're trying to do is just what you explained. Linked with the value chain of Coca-Cola, we are trying to foster women of all kinds of environments. Not, in this case, it's not going to be women that are going to come from social excluded contexts, but it's going to be people that are going to come from rural areas, with urban areas, with any kind of women in Spain could be a potentially beneficiary of this kind of project. And what we're trying to give them is like 10 hours offline training of explaining that they can do whatever they want to do, this part of personal empowerment, but also explaining basic things linked to the development of a business, and then giving them the opportunity to construct this business around the value chain of Coca-Cola, and therefore the distribution, recyclers, artisans that have to do with making this into a beautiful jewelry. So it's completely on the agenda, and hopefully you'll see it by the end of the year.
Take the microphone, yeah.
It goes back to the point that you made earlier about combining the profit motive. You made it very clear. This is not about philanthropy, it's not about charity, it's about business, and that you can combine profit with social impact. And in fact, that profit equals social impact in many ways. I'm sorry, I'm quite passionate about this. I work in South Africa, and I just landed this morning in Madrid from Cape Town, and we work there in social business, and so we are, and it's very fascinating for me to listen to the conversation here in Spain about this kind of topic. So sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Is that answered? If someone else has a question, something you would like to add to the presentation? Yeah, here we go.
This is a question for Xavier Pon. I've really understood the concept of impact investment, but I want to ask you if these people, do they really exist, or this is something very nice to say in a paper or in theory, the social investors?
Let me explain you just an example of the first impact investment fund in UK that it was called Bridges Ventures. Bridges Ventures, there was these guys from the city in London that at one point of time they were ex-sharks, and I don't know why, maybe they had something to give back to society, but they thought that the financial markets could work for the social. So they tried to raise this fund, and it was very difficult for them because nobody believed them. Nobody really believed that they could make money at the same time that they had a social impact. So they basically got money from the philanthropy market. People that put there and tried to see what happened. Well, these guys, they closed their first fund with an IRR, with a profitability of 15%. They closed the second fund with a 12%. They closed the third fund with 14%. So suddenly, all these investors that were doing philanthropy with them, they started believing that they could really make money with that. And they've raised right now 12 funds, and they give quite a constant profitability at the same time that they create impact. So yes, clearly, you can really make money at the same time that you create social impact.
Okay, good. Someone else would like to ask? Yeah. Here we go.
Actually, it's more an addition more than a question for you guys, but I would like to have your opinion on this, which is, for social impact companies, something I'm noticing is that it's way easier to attract valuable human capital, meaning employees, which are insanely good because of the impact side of things. And for instance, like I previously was working in Google before, and after, okay, I was saying that, nice. Okay, I was saying that, like, generally speaking, for social impact companies, I think it's way easier to attract employees. For instance, like in our company, we are like 14 people, previous Google and Facebook. And you enter Google, you're super excited, you're going to change the world. And after a couple of years, you realize that you look back and you built a feature in Google Maps, which is beautiful still, but didn't really change the planet, so to speak. And therefore, like in our case, in the case of lots of other companies in the same field, we kind of see this one as an extremely strong competitive advantage when talking to investors, for instance, in terms of saying, yes, we might be targeting emerging markets less profitable in terms of unit economics than someone targeting the United States. However, in terms of human capital, it's way easier to get extremely high value at a fraction of the cost, so to speak. Is this something that it comes a lot around when talking to investors in the social space, or not really?
I didn't really get the full question, but let me put you an example that we have here with the audience. There is a project called People Who Global. It's a project that we just closed a financing round of more than 1 million euros. It's a very innovative and disruptive business in the health sector. They have a very professional team with salaries, with market salaries, and operates as any other entrepreneur in the market. So I would say that social entrepreneurs are very similar to normal entrepreneurs, and they can be as disruptive, they can be as profitable, and you can make as much money as a normal entrepreneur. It depends on the product, the innovation, the disruption, the value proposition that you have with your company.
Yeah. Is that answer the question? Yeah. Someone else? No? 3, 2, no? Okay, good. Thank you very much for the talk. Please give another applause. Thank you.